Hello students, let us start with section 2 direct tax in the subject of accountancy and taxation class SYBCom SEM 3 Veer Narmat South Gujarat University. Let us discuss the first chapter Introduction of Direct Tax. Now let us start with a very important term tax. That what is tax? In a very layman language, tax is a government revenue that is collected from the income of individuals or legal entity. That is tax. Now, a tax is also termed as a compulsory contribution to state revenue, which is levied by the government on workers' income and business profit or added to the cost of some goods or services and transaction. And a very simple definition of tax is a tax is a compulsory financial charge which is imposed upon a taxpayer. That taxpayer can be an individual or a legal entity by the government organization in order to fund the government spending and various public expenditure. This is known as tax. In very simple word, tax is a part of your income which you pay to the government. That is types of taxes. There are two types of tax. One is direct tax and the another one is indirect tax. Now let us see in detail what is direct tax and what is indirect. Now, direct tax is a tax which is levied on, or you can say which is imposed on the person income and profit. That is known as direct tax. And direct tax is that tax which the taxpayer has to directly pay to the government. The burden of this taxes cannot be shifted to any other person or any other group. That is known as direct tax. जिसका टैक्स है वो खुद ही पे करेगा, वो अपना बर्डन किसी और को शिफ्ट नहीं कर सकता और उसको डायरेक्टली गवर्नमेंट को पे करना है. दैट इज नोन एज डायरेक्ट टैक्स. नाउ द taxpayers of direct tax are individual, HUFs, firms and companies. And this is a progressive tax. Progressive tax means जैसे आपकी इनकम बढ़ेगी वैसे आपका टैक्स बढ़ेगा. Say for example, on 10 lakh rupees, you are having a tax of 1 lakh. But if you are having an income of 20 lakh, you will be having a tax of 2 lakh. So, आपकी इनकम वेरी होगी तो आपका टैक्स भी वेरी होगा. So, this is known as progressive tax. More income, more tax. The best example for direct tax are income tax, wealth tax, and corporate tax. Now, what is income tax? Income tax is the tax which is levied on the income of an individual, firm, company, HUF, etc. Wealth tax is now abolished. That was calculated on the property, you can say, of the persons, individuals, companies, etc. So, this is your direct tax. Now, the second one is indirect tax. Indirect tax is the tax which is imposed on goods and services. And the burden of indirect tax can be shifted to another person easily. It can be shifted to another person or you can say group of person. And in this indirect tax, the taxpayer are the end consumer of the goods and services. And this is a non-progressive nature, or you can say it is a non-progressive tax. मतलब आपकी इनकम 10 लाख हो या आपकी इनकम 20 लाख हो, आपको अगर 8% जीएसटी कोई पर्टिकुलर गुड्स पे है तो उतना ही पे करना है, उससे ज्यादा आपको पे करना नहीं है. मेरी इनकम 10,000 है, सो मुझे जीएसटी 12% पे करना है, तो आई हैव टू पे 12%। तो जिसकी इनकम 50,000 है उसको भी वो पर्टिकुलर कमोडिटी पे 12% ही पे करना है। तो ये आपकी इनकम के ऊपर नहीं है। आपकी इनकम ज्यादा है तो ये टैक्स ज्यादा होगा, ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं है। दिस इज अ नॉन प्रोग्रेसिव टैक्स। ओके, previously there were many indirect taxes, say for example you can say VAT, CST, custom, excise, service tax, entertainment tax, luxury tax. These were the taxes previously. Now what is VAT? We will just see one by one कि VAT क्या होता है. VAT is a value added tax that was levied within the state. For example, अहमदाबाद में एक पार्टी है और एक पार्टी वापी में है, so it is within the state of Gujarat, so in that case VAT was applicable. CST is central sales tax that refers to the tax which is levied on the sales which is generated during interstate. Interstate मतलब state के बाहर. मैं गोवा में हूँ और एक कस्टमर मेरा गुजरात में, तो गोवा से गुजरात, तो CST, that is interstate. Custom was levied on imports and export. Excise duty was levied on the manufacturing goods that were manufactured in India. Service tax was levied on the services provided. For example, वोडाफोन का बिल आता होगा आपके घर पे, तो पहले जो भी बिल है उसमें प्लस सर्विस टैक्स लिख के आता था। तो जो सर्विसेज वोडाफोन आपको प्रोवाइड कर रहा है तो उसके लिए वो सर्विसेज चार्ज कर रहा है, तो दैट वाज सर्विस टैक्स. Then entertainment tax. Entertainment tax is a tax which we paid for getting ourselves entertained. For example, we go for watching movie in the theater, so you can see के taxes add होते. आप टिकट का अमाउंट देखना और उसमें प्लस टैक्स ऐड होता है, तो वो आपका एंटरटेनमेंट टैक्स है. फिर उसके बाद लग्जरी टैक्स. If you want to enjoy luxuries in the hotels, so the facilities, the amenities which you enjoy in the hotels are the luxuries. For that also they used to charge the taxes, so they were termed as luxury tax. तो पहले अलग 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 टाइप के टैक्सेस होते थे, but all these indirect taxes are now replaced with one single tax, and that is known as goods and service tax. From 1st July 2017, all these taxes are now replaced with one single tax, which is known as goods and service tax. Now let us see in detail what is goods and service tax. The very simple definition of goods and service tax is the tax which is levied on the goods and services is known as GST. GST is a comprehensive tax levy on manufacture, sale and consumption of goods and service at the national level. That is known as GST. And GST is a tax which is levied on goods and services in a very simple manner. Goods and services are divided into different tax slabs for the collection of tax, say 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. There are different tax rates. You can say there are different GST rates for different categories of goods: 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28%. This GST is of non-progressive nature. I already explained in the last slide that what is non-progressive tax. Now, let us discuss about the types of GST. There are four types of GST. The first one is CGST, second one is SGST, and the third is UTGST, fourth is IGST. CGST means Central Goods and Service Tax. SGST means State Goods and Service Tax. Let us understand the meaning of SGST and CGST. When the supply of goods or services is done within the state, it is done within the state, or you can say it is an intrastate transaction, then both CGST and SGST will be collected, and this is known as SGST and CGST. For example, I am selling my lectures to Mr. X in Maharashtra and I am also staying in Maharashtra. मैं खुद महाराष्ट्र में रह रही हूँ एंड मैं अपने लेक्चर्स सेल कर रही हूँ मिस्टर एक्स को जो महाराष्ट्र में ही रह रहे हैं. तो यहाँ जो जीएसटी रेट एप्लीकेबल होगा दैट विल बी 18%. दैट विल बी 18%. उस 18% में 9% विल बी सीजीएसटी एंड 9% विल बी एसजीएसटी. सो दिस SGST and CGST is collected within the state. That is known as intra-state transaction. So I hope you are clear till CGST and SGST. An important thing I want to state over here is the authority which is benefited by CGST is the central government, and this tax is collected by the central government. The authority which is benefited by SGST is the state government, and the tax is collected by the state government. Now let us see with the third type of GST, that is UTGST, that is Union Territory Goods and Service Tax. The UTGST is the counterpart of SGST, which is levied on the supply of goods and or services in the Union Territories of India. Now, which are the Union Territories in India? Andaman and Nicobar Island, Chandigarh, Daman Diu, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, and Lakshadweep. So the UTGST is applicable on the goods and or services in the Union Territories. That is known as UTGST. This UTGST is collected by the Union Territories, and the authority which is benefited, that is also the Union Territories. Means जो government Union Territory में चल रही है वो. And the last one is Integrated Goods and Services Tax, IGST. This tax is applicable in interstate way. It is applicable in interstate way. IGST is the tax which is between two different states, or you can say interstate. That is known as IGST. I would like to explain this with an example. Say I am staying in Maharashtra. I am selling my lectures out of the state. That is, I am selling in Delhi. Then I will charge a IGST over here. So the percentage of IGST is, say for example, 18%. So this is known as IGST. The authority which is benefited in IGST is the central government and state government both. And who collects it? It is collected by the central government. So ये दो states के बीच में, मैं महाराष्ट्र में रह रही हूँ और मैं मेरा lectures बेच रही हूँ दिल्ली में, तो तब क्या लगेगा? IGST. So these are the types of GST. In more, you can study in the last chapter of our syllabus. Let us see the GST history from this flowchart. In 1986, Vishwanath started India's indirect tax regime. In 2000, a committee was organized to design the GST. In 2002, Vajpayee government formed a task force to recommend the tax reforms. In 2006, our finance minister P. Chidambaram proposed a GST rollout by 1st April 2010. Then in 2008, Election Commission finalized the dual GST structure. In 2010, government launched computerized commercial tax project and postponed GST. In 2011, the head of GST committee Azim Das Gupta resigned. Then 2012, A discussion started on GST but objected it over the clause 27(9)(b). In 2014, BJP government introduced GST bill and government approval by standing committee. In 2015, our finance minister Mr. Arun Jaitley re-proposed the GST rollout by 1st April 2017. And in 2016, GSTN was live and also got approval from both the houses. And in 2017, GST got live on the historic midnight 30 June and 1st July 2017. So everybody knows that GST came into existence on 1st July 2017. Let us see the history of income tax in India. In India, this tax was introduced for the first time in 1860 by Sir James Wilson in order to meet the loss which was sustained by the government on account of military mutiny. Now, what is mutiny? That is the refusal which was done by soldiers of obeying the command, and due to that, the government suffered the loss. That was in 1857. So, Government of India thought of introducing the tax in India for first time in 1860. The Income Tax Act 1961 has been brought in force with 1st April 1962. You have to remember this act. Income Tax Act is 1961, which came in force with 1st April 1962. The present law of income tax is contained in the Income Tax Act 1961. So this, let us see what does this Income Tax Act contains. The Income Tax Act contains the provision for determination of taxable income, that how the taxable income of a particular SSE will be calculated, determination of tax liability. Determination of tax liability means particular assessee को कितना टैक्स लगेगा, 5% है, 10% है, 20% है, 30% है, etc. Then procedure for assessment, penalties, appeals, prosecutions, and this act also lays down the power and duties of various income tax authorities. So this all things are being contained in our Income Tax Act. Now, income tax law comprises of 5 important things, which are the Income Tax Act 1961, Income Tax Rules 1962, notifications and circulars which are issued by CBDT. CBDT means Central Board of Direct Tax. Then Annual Finance Act. Then judicial pronouncement by Supreme and High Courts. So these are the very 5 important things which are included in income tax law, which we'll study in detail in the next slides. Let us see the objectives of income tax. The first one is to increase government revenue. Yes. The income tax is collected with this main or primary object of increasing the government revenue. मतलब गवर्नमेंट की इनकम बढ़ाने के लिए, बिकॉज गवर्नमेंट की इनकम बढ़ेगी, गवर्नमेंट का रेवेन्यू बढ़ेगा, तो दिस मनी कैन बी यूज्ड इन डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज, डिफरेंट एवेन्यूज. अलग अलग जगह पर पैसा यूटिलाइज्ड होगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, द मनी विल बी यूटिलाइज्ड फॉर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फैसिलिटी, for education, for health care, etc. So the very first basic object of income tax is to increase the government revenue. So that's why the income tax is being collected. The second one is to raise money needed to finance government expenditure. Yes, government need finance. Why they need finance? Because they have to do many expenditures like road बनाना है, रेलवे का जो मेंटेनेंस होता है वो है, उसके बाद हेल्थ केयर है, एजुकेशन है, बहुत सारी चीज़ों के लिए गवर्नमेंट को पैसा चाहिए. ऐसे बहुत सारे एक्सपेंडिचर्स है जो गवर्नमेंट को करने हैं. वो कहाँ से करेंगे? ऑफ कोर्स फ्रॉम द मनी विच इज कलेक्टेड फ्रॉम द public, and this money is collected from the public in form of income tax. So this is also an objective. The income tax is the tax which is needed. Why? To finance the government expenditure. Next, to encourage the saving and investment. Yes, through income tax, a person is always motivated or always encouraged to invest somewhere, and ultimately their investment will be considered as a saving. For example, मुझे मैं गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स पे कर रही हूँ, बट मुझे ऐसा है कि मुझे इतना ज़्यादा टैक्स पे नहीं करना है, देन आई विल फाइंड डिफरेंट एवेन्यूज जहाँ मैं इन्वेस्ट करूँ और वो इन्वेस्टमेंट का बेनिफिट मुझे मेरे टैक्स में मिलेगा. यस, मिलता है. हम हाउसिंग लोन लेते हैं, हाउसिंग लोन, तो हाउसिंग लोन में हम जो ईएमआई पे करते हैं तो उसमें प्रिंसिपल अमाउंट एंड इंटरेस्ट होता है, तो उसका बेनिफिट मुझे इनकम टैक्स में ज़रूर मिलता है. तो मेरा जितना टैक्स आ रहा है उससे टैक्स थोड़ा कम हो जाता है ड्यू टू दिस हाउसिंग लोन. सो इनकम टैक्स से फ़ायदा ये हो जाता है एक इंसान को कि अल्टीमेटली ही इज़ एनकरेज टू डू द इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड देर इज़ एन सेविंग, बिकॉज एवरीबडी वांट्स कि हम टैक्स कम पे करें. तो कम टैक्स पे करने के लिए इन्वेस्टमेंट के एवेन्यूज ओपन हो जाते हैं, जो एक इंसान को भी फायदा हो जाता है एंड अल्टीमेटली इट इज बेनिफिटेड टू द गवर्नमेंट ऑल्सो. उसके बाद प्राइस स्टेबिलिटी. यस, नाउ एज यू ऑल नो दैट टैक्सेस आर दैट, or you can say taxes are regarded as an effective means of controlling the inflation. Yeah, by raising the rate of direct taxes, the private spending can be easily controlled. So naturally the pressure on the commodity market will be reduced. So in that case the price stability is maintained. Next is optimum allocation of available resources. देखिए, जो गवर्नमेंट है, गवर्नमेंट इनकम कहाँ से लाती है? फ्रॉम द टैक्सेस विच दे कलेक्ट. मतलब गवर्नमेंट की रेवेन्यू क्या है? द टैक्सेस विच दे कलेक्ट. सो ये जो टैक्सेस कलेक्ट करते हैं दैट इज यूटिलाइज्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट इन वेरियस एरियाज. मतलब ये इनका ऑप्टिमम अलोकेशन हो जाता है. अलग अलग एरियाज में मैक्सिमम अलोकेशन ये लोग कर सकते हैं जो भी रिसोर्सेज अवेलेबल होते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपने देखा होगा कि ये पेंडेमिक में गवर्नमेंट ने वैक्सीन कैंप, मतलब वैक्सीन जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किए हैं वो फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट किए. गवर्नमेंट ने तो फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट किए. सो इन दिस वे यू कैन से द मनी ऑफ दिस इनकम टैक्स or this revenue of the government which is collected through income tax has an optimum allocation, right? So the same can also be utilized, matlab the same revenue can also be utilized for infrastructure development, free education, healthcare, etc. And the last one is acceleration of economic growth. Yes, टैक्सेस कलेक्ट होगा तो अल्टीमेटली हमारी इकोनॉमी में ग्रोथ आएगा. क्या आएगा? हमारी इकोनॉमी में ग्रोथ आएगा. देयर विल बी इंक्रीज इन द इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ एंड अल्टीमेटली इट विल लीड्स टू द इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द कंट्री. सो इट्स वेरी मच इम्पॉर्टेंट टू pay the taxes, because when you are as a citizen paying the tax, that definitely increase the economic growth, that accelerate the economic growth. So these are the objectives of income tax. Let us see the sources of income tax in India. I have already mentioned the 5 sources of income tax in the previous slide. Let us see one by one in detail. The first one is Income Tax Act 1961. This Income Tax Act 1961 contains the following things and which helps in the following. That is, first, determination of taxable income, tax liability, penalties, procedure for assessment, duties and powers of income tax officer. So these are the things which are included in Income Tax Act 1961. The second source of income tax is Annual Finance Act. Annual Finance Act is an act in which means in the budget, or you can say in the finance bill, the rate of taxes are being changed, or what will be the rate of deduction of tax, how much will be the advance payment, or whatever changes which are made in income tax in the financial year, that is being mentioned in the finance bill or budget. So that is mentioned in this annual finance act. So finance bill or budget, under which rates of tax to be charged, rate of deduction of tax, advance tax, changes in income tax, this all things are included in the annual finance act. The third one is income tax rules 1962. Now, this income tax rule act as a supplement to Income Tax Act 1961, and this income tax rules are effective from 1st April 1962. The CBDT, that is Central Board of Direct Tax, has the power to amend the income tax rule. Amend मतलब उसके अंदर changes करने का पावर, अधिकार किसके पास है? सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ डायरेक्ट टैक्स. सो ये 3 सोर्सेस हैं इनकम टैक्स के. ये स्लाइड पे नेक्स्ट 2 सोर्सेस हम आगे देखेंगे. लेट अस कम टू द फोर्थ वन, दैट इज circulars and clarification by CBDT, that is Central Board of Direct Tax. Now, this Central Board of Direct Tax is like that which issues the circular, and circulars are issued regarding to the orders or instructions or directions or any guidance for the proper administration of act. So in this context, the circulars are being issued by the CBDT, and CBDT issues the circular from time to time. Now, the central government has the authority to issue the notifications on various provisions according to the Income Tax Act and income tax rules. For example, as you all know that during the COVID, जो रिटर्न डेट ऑफ फाइलिंग रिटर्न थी, मतलब इनकम आईटीआर फाइल करने की जो डेट थी वो चेंज हुई थी. तो ये अनाउंसमेंट, ये नोटिफिकेशन इशू करने का अथॉरिटी किसके पास है? सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के पास है. यू कैन सी दैट सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट हैज द अथॉरिटी टू इशू द नोटिफिकेशंस on the provisions of Income Tax Act and also the income tax rules. So this comes under your circular and clarification by CBDT. The last one is judicial rulings. Now, in judicial rulings, there are 2 things. One is Supreme Court and the another one is High Court. The decisions which are given by the Supreme Court becomes the law, means becomes legal, and that are applicable to all the courts, appellant authorities, income tax authorities, and the assessee. So decisions which will be given by the Supreme Court will be applicable to all these. And the High Court, the High Court decision is that decision which tie up, which bind up the tribunal, बांध के रखती है ट्रिब्यूनल को, income tax authorities को, and all the SSC in the jurisdiction. So these are the judicial rulings, jurisdiction, sorry. So these are the judicial rulings about the सुप्रीम कोर्ट के पास क्या पावर है और हाई कोर्ट के पास क्या पावर है. सो सुप्रीम कोर्ट जो डिसीजन देती है वो लॉ बन जाता है, एंड हाई कोर्ट इन सबको बांध के रखती है, मतलब इट टाई अप. सो दिस आर द 5 sources of the Income Tax Act.